I am trying to fully accept me and being different. I just don't want to be around people right now.
Hi guys, welcome to Wind Down on Wednesdays. What is Erica like when she is filling her cup?
Filling my cup is just allowing myself to be me. I just feel like I really want to share my own journey. I just feel like sharing is caring. Recently, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I have ADHD, and what does that mean?
Let's start with the relationship. What's the secret here?
I think the one thing I can say is just intentionality.
Hi guys, welcome to Wind Down on Wednesdays. Erica Mbanda, it's good to have you on the stage. Thank you. We're finally in it.
Finally me.
All I had to do was start the show.
Exactly.
And then we went. How are you today?
I'm doing very well.
Lovely meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
You're doing incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's evolved in terms of what I want to share on the YouTube channel. And now it just feels like the right time. I just feel like I really want to share my own journey of just self-awareness, self-love, my journey of becoming a mother, becoming a wife, and all the things that I'm learning. And I just feel like sharing is caring, and there's power in that.
Yes.
And I'd love to just share with people and hopefully build a community to where I could even learn from.
Well done, you. You've done amazing. But the content was also quite specific, and it's very true to what you've been doing on social media.
Yes.
Family, relationship, the entrepreneur side to you. It seems to me like you have found your voice. Was that hard?
Yes, the journey to finding my voice has been very, very hard.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this a lot, but I feel like most of my life I've just been trying to live up to what I thought people wanted me to be. And I just felt like I never really truly knew like who Erica was or what my giftings are. I was always trying to work hard to I want to be a good speaker like so-and-so. And so
yourself to other people. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's been a huge, huge struggle of mine. And also just wanting to fit in, wanting to people please. And so it's like you're just chasing after what you think people want. And it's just not healthy. It's not fulfilling. You feel at some point you're just like, this doesn't feel good because people are going to disappoint you. People are always going to demand more or something different. And I just realized
now everybody's going to like whatever you think they want. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you're talking about this, and you who's watching this, and you're also trying to start something new, but you're self-doubting. You're wondering, will somebody like it? All you have to do is show up.
Yeah.
Just your authentic self. Show up. I just wonder, you have a lot that you do. You're an entrepreneur. You have a lovely husband who I do not know what you do to get him to do the TikToks and the social media, everything. Husbands, maybe you need to be taking some notes.
You guys, I'm not forcing him. It's, but it is also that thing of share what it is that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Right? That was one of the tips in counseling is share what you enjoy doing together. So that you can feel loved. And one of the things is I enjoy doing these videos with you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's just fun for me. And whether we post it or not, so many times I'm like, we could just do these videos. We don't have to post it, but it's just fun to laugh and watch it ourselves. We have plenty of videos that we've done that have not been posted.
You make me so happy just seeing you guys geek out, vibe out. It's great. And also I think that for me, the feeling that I always get watching that has always been that I love that he loves you in your love language.
Yes.
That's the feeling that I get. I feel like this man gets it. He knows that there's so many ways to show support. There's so many ways, but this is something that brings joy to her. So let's do it. Yeah. He might enjoy it. He may not enjoy that, but this is her thing. So I love saying that.
We have fun with it. We really do.
What do you think has been the thing that has helped you guys keep that fire? Because you recently celebrated your anniversary. I was watching the beautiful video. You have 2 lovely babies. You're doing work. Again, going back to my question, you seem like you're doing a lot. How do you manage? Let's start with the relationship because that's quite core. You know,
It is.
it can be the basis of all these pieces.
Yeah.
What's the secret here?
Gosh, I think the one thing I can say is just intentionality. Like, you have to be intentional. I think we had to be intentional with our communication, really voicing like what our needs are, what our wants are. And, you know, you find that, at least for me, like in the dating phase of our, when we were together, it's easy. You're trying to impress each other.
Yes.
You're doing all these cute things.
It comes easy.
It comes easy, but it's like you're in this pursuit, right? You're pursuing each other. I think that we evolve, we change. Who I was when I got married and who I am now is different. The needs that I had then and the needs that I have now are different. And I can't expect that he can read my mind and know how he can love me, how he can serve me, because that's going to change. If I don't communicate that,
there's no way.
But they're not going to be met, and I'll be disappointed.
Look, and the reason I want to always take this opportunity to talk to you who's watching, because we're here to learn, we're here to grow, right? And it's important that you understand your partner is not a mind reader. Your children are not mind readers. Your family, your friends, they're not mind readers. And you have to communicate your needs. It is so heartwarming to meet a person and they're able to put it in the words that actually, you know, we feel like we can relate and connect with. What was that like for you, being able to have that conversation of like, okay, yeah, you know, we need to be a little bit intentional, babe. Did you even have the conversation to begin with? Like, this is what it's going to take for us to keep the fire. Or was it just natural for you guys?
Yeah.
And it just happened?
No.
Because for a lot of people, you need to have the awkward talk.
Yeah, you do need to have the awkward talk, but you know, to be honest, we didn't even know what it was. We didn't know what we were lacking. We just hit a point in our relationship where obviously the first year of marriage was kind of rough. And, you know, it's like seasons would come and we would feel tension in our marriage. And it's easy to feel some tension in your marriage and be like, okay, well, it's the other person. Like, well, you're doing this, you're doing that. But what happens is when you actually break it down, it might be that, I don't know, like something's just so superficial and just, you know, he's always going out that you're like angry about, right? But the reality is, when you dig deeper, there's
something
there, and those feelings are like give you like a thought process. So what is it you're thinking? So if I'm feeling rejected, then I feel like, okay, my husband doesn't want me anymore, and then I start now behaving and acting in a way that's going to cause some tension in our marriage. So this is just an example. So for us, I think that we really felt a lot of tension after my daughter was born. And I think I was dealing through a lot. I was learning to be a mother. I was dealing with postpartum. I was in denial that I was dealing with postpartum. I didn't want to accept that because I had spent so much time researching and planning, and I'm just going to avoid this at all costs. And so there was a lot of shame around that and guilt. So I was dealing with all of this stuff, right? Now, mind you, I'm still Erica, the wife to Junior. And so I didn't know that that's what you were going through. He could see it, but he didn't know because I wasn't talking.
Okay.
I wasn't sharing. I didn't even know how to talk about it, but he can see a shift, like something is different. You know, my wife is different. Like, I don't know what's going on. And so, of course, when he's seeing all these things, you know, that can give him like a lot of like thoughts and ideas, like, okay, maybe like I'm not good enough.
Yeah,
maybe I'm
she doesn't more meaning.
You know, lots of different things that could happen. So this is why communication is so key, because when we don't communicate, the other person is just left to try to figure out what's happening. Yeah. Then if you're like me, I go to like worst case scenarios. I just come up with all these crazy scenarios and assumptions. So for us, it was more, there was tension. We were like, why are we arguing all the time? Why can't we talk to each other? Like, we're struggling with communication. And so let's go to therapy. Let's just see if someone can just help us and how we can talk to each other.
That is so brave. And I'm so happy that that's what happened for you. But for a lot of people, that's not what happened. Yeah. And it's important that you recognize when you see the shift, as you called it, that you pause, you investigate, you know, you look at what's going on in your own life. But if you can't even reach out and find out, and if you can't do it by yourself, just like Erica, you know, you seek for help.
Yeah.
You know, we grew up in a society that just, we don't ask for help. We seem important.
It is.
And I emphasize this a lot on this platform. Please ask for help when you need it.
And let's normalize it. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, when we started going to therapy and started sharing, like, people were like, what is wrong? Like, what is so bad in this relationship that you have to go to therapy, right? And I'm so blessed that both Junior and I had gone to therapy prior to us even.
Okay.
dating.
Yes.
We both done
yes,
individual.
Yeah.
And so I think it was less scary in a way, because we just know, like, okay, you don't go to therapy when things are really, really bad. Like, it's just going, sitting, talking to someone.
It's also good to go there before anything is even wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think for that, it was easier for us to go to therapy because we both kind of had an idea of what it was. But I must say that when we did start going more consistently was when I was going through the whole postpartum phase and all of that. And it was really my husband looking at me and saying, Erica, like, I think something's wrong here and we need help. Like, he's the one that actually initiated that. And it's funny that I resisted it, because now I'm like, like, I am not going to be the problem, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like now it's just like, Erica's the problem. Erica needs fixing. And so let's go. That was that was what I was feeling, right? So I was really scared, because I'm just like, I'm going through a lot right now. I don't even know how to put to words what it is that I'm going through. And now I don't want to go to counseling and our marriage isn't working because Erica's the problem.
Because of,
But the reality is there's two people in the equation. It's never one person that's the problem.
Yeah.
One person might be going through something more, but still your behaviors and your actions will impact the other person. And it's just going to be a cycle. And so it's realizing, like, one, we learned a lot about what our love styles are. We learned that we were actually, what we thought, we were communicating our feelings. We were communicating our feelings. We were just saying, well, you made me mad because of X, Y, Z. Right?
Just but that's
actually communicating your feelings. What you're doing is you're attacking the other person.
Yes.
So what we thought was, I'm going to tell you, like, I'm actually not happy right now because X, Y, Z. But we were, I was attacking, and then he would attack back and attack and attack. And so we went to counseling, and she was like, okay, let's do this activity together.
Okay.
I want you guys to express your feelings. She's like, you're not expressing your feelings right now, you know? And when she really came down to, I want you to express what is the feeling and what is it that you need from your spouse.
partner.
And we both looked at each other like, cricket.
What you had any? What do we call? Like, sat down to process what that is.
Because the first thing is even just understanding yourself. What am I feeling?
Yes.
Where is this coming from? What am I thinking?
Because it has to go back to investigating and being self-aware.
Yeah.
And that's not easy. Because again, you have to do the thing that you didn't want to do. You have to accept that I'm going through something. I need help. And that's part of this equation, this situation that's happening between the two of us. Wow.
So that I mean, we learned a lot. So the communication was good. So that's all the intentionality. Like, we had to be intentional about, one, asking for some help. Even like to others, and it's so relative. Like, our marital problems could be so minute compared to others' marital problems, but I'm not concerned about that. Like, for me, it's not to say we're going to marriage counseling, people are like, oh my gosh, like, how bad is this? And I'm just like, I'm not measuring my marriage on a scale to other people's.
Exactly.
Like, this is my marriage, and I feel like,
and what you're feeling is very valid. A friend of mine, Loch Yaga, once said on a radio show that I was hosting, and this stayed with me for so many years, and I think in many ways has changed my life. She said, pain is personal. Whatever it is that is happening in your relationship that makes you feel not good, that makes you, feel hurt, or it's personal. It's important that we recognize whatever your situation is, whatever is causing you pain, whatever is making you feel like neglected or in any unpleasant way, it's valid, and you cannot push it down just because it's not on the scale of somebody else's relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's like your marriage is sacred. Your marriage is the two of you.
Yeah.
And so who are other people to say, don't go to counseling for this, or don't talk about that you're going to counseling because then people are going to think really bad.
Yes.
For me, my goal is to have a fulfilling marriage with my husband. I want to have fun. I want us to feel like we're in tune.
Yes.
I want it to feel like I'm able to serve him, that he's able to serve me, that we know each other, that we dream together, that we communicate. And that requires us knowing each other,
Yes.
but one, also knowing ourselves. And
No, it has because it counts with self. And on one of the episodes, I remember I said the relationship has to start with yourself. But if I'm disregarding myself, how can I love you if I can't love me enough to?
100%.
Exactly.
Or how can you accept even the person's love if you can't even let self?
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Erica, let's talk about business.
Yes.
You've been doing great. You now have your new business that you just opened. You have a coffee shop. And I remember listening to your story. It's so inspiring how you began. And you began in your own home. And you talk about Googling and trying to find all this information to start your business and finding out it just can't
Can't here. Yeah.
And many years now, you have your own coffee shop. How does that feel? Congratulations,
Thank you so much. Thank you. It feels so good. It feels surreal. I mean, many times I'm like, wow, like I just feel so blessed.
I did that.
I did that. But I feel so blessed. I feel blessed by the people that have supported me along the way.
Yes.
I feel blessed for the encouragement when I felt like I couldn't do it, when I was doubting myself. I feel blessed for just the growth, the learning opportunities that I've had along the journey. And it's just crazy when I get to sit in my cafe and have a cup of coffee. I'm like,
I see it when you're sharing the pride and the joy. And for a lot of people, in trying to walk the journey, you have this dream and you have to live it to see it come to fruition. What was that process like for you? Did it come easy?
So I think it's grown as I've developed as an entrepreneur as well. So in the beginning, and I've talked about how we started, just hosting people for brunches. And this is my roommate and I at the time. We had both moved back to Rwanda. And we wanted to get to know people. So we were like, let's just do this thing that we love. We love baking. We love cooking. We love entertaining. And so we're going to do this. And then I started seeing like, okay, there's an opportunity here for this becoming a business. So we discussed it and we were both like, let's give this a go. We're going to have a home bakery. So my friend and I started a home bakery. And as it kept going, that's when my brain started going into the, well, this could actually be a business.
Yes.
I feel like there's a demand in this market. And I feel like we could take this outside of the home and make it a bit bigger. And so it was this dream, but it was also like, I don't think I can do that. Like, how can I do that? Like, I'm comfortable
Yes.
in this setting of like being in the home.
Yeah.
So fast forward, now that dream's realized, I'm able to bring this business back up, and I have my cafe. I'm actually getting another location in the near future. I hope. I don't know, be like before the end of this year.
Well done.
And so my ultimate dream,
because the cafe is not even a year old. The first location. That's amazing.
yeah, it's a long story, but in short, I mean, my bigger dream was always to just have at first I wanted to have like a breakfast place where you could have breakfast. I think that's changed a bit more. So I'm still looking at what I'm going to actually offer. But there will be a bigger location. But now I actually have this passion of like developing young people in the hospitality industry, seeing people grow in their passions, something that they want to do and maybe feel intimidated by it, or I'm not good enough. And just giving them the platform to be able to learn and to grow.
Yes.
And I've done that with my team. I have 7 staff right now, and that has become now a passion of mine. So now when I look at Unapologetically, it's more, I really want to get good people that are going to come in and just kind of run the business. And I'd love to continue doing that, a house where people can come through, grow in their passions, grow within the company, and then move on to like other things.
What is Erica like when she is filling her cup? What is your go-to? Where do you go?
That's a good one. I love journaling. I love journaling. I love worshiping. Really, for me, it's like having my alone time to where I can just process. Like I like to just check in with Erica. Like how's Erica doing? What am I feeling right now? Being grateful, praising God and worshiping, like all of that fills my cup. But then I enjoy like spending time with my children. I mean, that's such a tough question because I feel like so many things fill my cup.
And for me, I feel like it's important that I always ask this question, and I make it a point to ask this question because when we see people like you, and I'm so glad that you are on the green couch today, because for so many people that are watching, they get to see Erica happy. You know, they get to see Erica in these short edited clips where you're happy, you're smiling, and it doesn't come easy. I believe that you actually have to do something to keep that smile going. You have to invest in yourself, to pour back in yourself.
And I think, you know, as I reflect on that more, filling my cup is just allowing myself to be me. And like when I look at my life before, it was like,
say that again. I feel like
filling my cup is allowing myself to just be me. And it's been a journey.
Statement.
It is a packed statement. And so that journey is unraveling, like, who is Erica? What does Erica love? Like, what does she want to do? And I feel like now I'm finally in this place where I am doing things that are filling my cup. I'm doing things that I love, that I feel passionate about. I'm choosing how I spend my time. And before, it was more of just like trying to keep up with an image, trying to find my identity in my work. Like, my work is what defines me. Like, Erica is this, Erica is strong in this. And so it was almost like I was just running after this like identity. And until I stepped back and just said, no, like, Erica, just me, like, no mukatina bata, no, like, just me, like, is beautiful and is enough. And once I'm okay with that, then it's like I just start pouring in, like, I just start filling my cup with things that I want and that I love.
I want to know a little bit more about parenting, right, for you. And you're a very public person, at least from the way I look at it, right? Looking at what you post on social media, you are open, you've shared about your husband, how you met, your relationship, long distance, end up married, how that has played out. You need to check out our YouTube channel. It is filling, and every minute of it will be well spent. But you're very public, you're very open. How have you been able to deal with that?
Yeah. So I think first, you know, I get it a lot where people are like, you're so open, you share so much.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm like, really?
Yeah, you don't frame it as the person, but that's how.
There's times that I feel like I share a lot, and there's other times where I'm like, this isn't too much for me, right? So there's times where I'm sharing and I feel like this is a stretch to share, and there's a lot of times where I share and it's not really a stretch. And I think that, yes, I am very open and I am very public about a lot of things, but there's also a lot of things that I keep very sacred. Right?
Yeah.
Especially in my marriage, there's things that I don't share. In my relationships with my friends, with my family, there's still a lot that I don't share. And I think that requires some wisdom in what to share and what not to share. And for me, it always goes down to what's the end goal in me sharing, right? And so
So that becomes you deciding.
I think so, yeah.
Why am I sharing?
Why am I sharing? What's the motive? Yeah, what's the motive? Is it? I'm not trying to share and just some juicy gossip about my marriage or what's happening or what's going wrong, but it's more when I was sitting on the receiving end, hearing people open up vulnerably about their story, about their process. I was just seeing this finished product, and I was just like, how did they get there?
Yes.
And so being able to hear about the whole journey, about the ups and downs, you see happy marriages and you just like, you know, even my parents, you know, I see their marriage and I'm just like, they have such a beautiful marriage, right? A beautiful marriage. They're best friends. You know, they've been married for 35 plus years and it's just so cute to see. But for me, I'm like, I want to know the process, the journey. How did that always been this easy?
Yes.
Did you ever fight? Was there ever a time where you were like, I don't know about this person, you know? And for me, I feel like that's just kind of powerful because then I'm able to maybe relate. Because if I just see this finished product of this married couple and they're just so happy all the time and it's so amazing, right? And then I hit some bumps in my marriage and I don't see, all I see around is perfect marriages.
Yes,
everything's so happy and put together. Then I start to wonder, wow, like, okay, so it's only us.
Yeah.
Right.
There's something
and then
wrong with you.
there's something wrong with me, and there's something wrong with us. And I married the wrong person because everyone else seems happy. And so then it goes into shame. But a lot of it is just, you just feel alone. You're like, I'm the only person that's struggling with this. I'll never talk about it. And I'm just going to keep it here.
I find what you've done so powerful, and sometimes you may not even know how powerful it is, because on the receiving end, you give me permission to be myself. You laugh unapologetically. You share bravely, you do things in a way that should not be almost acceptable. I'm trying to use my words very carefully here. People have mercy. But like we've grown up in a society, and I remember I'm trying not to get emotional right now. I struggled so much with this when it came to sharing my daughter's podcast. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to season 1 of the Holistic Connection. So we did an episode about divorce through the eyes of a child, and my daughter, bless her soul, she came to me and she's like, Mom, I appreciate that we have these conversations, but I think that we need to start having these conversations on a bigger platform, because there are so many children who can't express themselves like me, and I feel like I can articulate my feelings in a way that could help parents. And I remember thinking, oh my God, the shame that you talk about. Oh my God, how will everybody receive this? Oh my God, they're going to think, what is wrong with this woman? Why can't she, go to therapy or something like that? Why is she bringing her pain into this kind of space and all of that? And I remember the first time hearing you talk about, I think it was on an Instagram live, if I recall correctly, and you were talking about, about what you experienced after having your baby and all of that. Yeah. And I remember feeling like, wow, it's almost like validation. It's almost like you're saying to other women, you know what, it's okay to share these things. And I remember when I shared and I put out that stuff, I didn't recognize that what I was doing was going to have that much impact. But I had people calling me crying, saying, oh my goodness, I cannot believe, that I'm actually listening to this kind of podcast. And this were not just people from our random community. And I know we don't talk so much about things relating to mental health and things like, I'm talking about people in the US, where it's okay to talk, and it's important that we continue to see content like yours. And I hope that I speak for every single person that has watched you. I hope that you continue to really talk about these things that we don't have an easy time talking about. Yeah.
And I think, I've had my own transformation.
Oh, God. And I just become the guest on my own show. Okay.
No, I love it. Everything you said was so on point. And it's, I think the best thing I can say is when you experience transformation, when you experience, I don't know, something just incredible in your own life, and you feel like, wow, like I feel light, I feel free, I feel like I can just be myself. And knowing where Erica was before and then now, I honestly cannot help but share, because I'm like, who else out there was feeling like, but who else out there was feeling like, like I was?
Yeah.
Who else had a baby and just wondered like, wow, this is really hard. I can't do this. I've lost myself. Like, am I ever going to get back to me? And now I could really say like, I feel like I'm back to me, and I want to encourage and I want to share my story for those people, like people who have felt those feelings that I have felt. And so if that comes as oversharing, like, so be it. Because I really feel like as we share a story, someone, it might not be the same exact story, but someone will relate to maybe a feeling or something you said, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, like I can get through this. And for me, like, that's my whole motivation.
Was there a point in your life, an event or something that happened that brought you to that realization that, with everything that you want to do, that you want to succeed at, that you want to enjoy, that you love, that you cherish, you have to be intentional about putting in the work?
I can't remember like a certain point or events per se. I think for me, a lot of things have just come up in counseling and therapy of my own, like learning about myself.
Yeah.
Right. So, before I was just seeing Erica doing all these things. Erica wants to get married, and I want to have a happy marriage, a beautiful marriage. But like, it's like, what is driving that? Like, why do I want that? And what does a happy marriage mean to me? What does that look like? And going to therapy has really dissected all of these beliefs or things that I wanted to have, even just being a mother and wanting to be a super mom and do everything perfectly. It's like I've had to like really dissect all of those things. And I think what it boils down to is me now just learning that I, like Erica, am enough. Like I am enough. What I give is enough. Wow. And it's something that I have to remind myself daily because it's not easy. There's many times in my marriage where I feel like I'm not doing enough. I could do better. I could be a better wife. But I don't want to spiral into shame of just trying to like achieve for this perfect wife, but it's more just being in tune with, I don't know, what I'm feeling, who am I, what do I bring to the table? And it's not about doing things, but it's just about being intentional in everything I'm doing. So I think that kind of plays out into everything, whether it's in my parenting with my kids. I'm like, I'm going to make every moment count and just show up as me. And I am enough for my kids.
Trust
my kids are blessed. That's enough. In my business, I don't know everything about running a bakery. I don't. But what I do know and my passion and that drive, that's enough. And like, I just need to go and I'll learn and I'll grow. I'm not saying that you are enough and don't develop, don't grow. I can surely become a better mom. I can understand myself better, my triggers. I can understand how I was raised and how that impacted me. And maybe what are the things that I want to change? What I want to pass on to my children? How do I want to show up in my marriage? All of those things. So I think that is the drive for the intentionality is just, I don't know, just show up, just first be okay with Erica. Erica's enough.
Yes. And that's why I believe that therapy is something that is for everybody. It's the one thing that I actually believe is for everybody. Everybody needs therapy.
Because everyone needs to understand themselves. Because the reality is we all have traumas. We all have hurt. We all have, like, we are shaped by the life that we've lived before, how we grew up, what we saw in our parents, what we saw with our siblings, like everything has impacted us. Maybe friends, that have come into your life. And I think that it's really like you need to truly understand yourself. What are your triggers? Yeah. What drives you? Because our feelings, again, like we feel something that will, if we can't identify our feelings, it's going to come out in our behaviors. Because, and you might not even have any idea, like, why am I acting this way? Well, because I have some kind of belief system. Where is that belief system from? Okay, there's, it's that whole like iceberg thing of feelings and like really digging down deep. And I feel like everyone needs to know themselves, go through that journey of really knowing themselves so they could truly show up, because it infiltrates like so many different areas. Absolutely. In your career, in your parenting, clearly, relationships. And so I think it's, I mean, I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I want to demystify like all of the, the stigma around therapy. It's like, just go.
It's like
maintenance, it
is maintenance. It is maintenance. And I feel like I pray that I'm alive when we get to the point where it's accessible, it's affordable for everybody, but also to a point where we think about it the way we think of paracetamol. Okay, now that I'm actually talking about this, I realize that time is fast spent, but I have so many things I want to ask you. So I'm inside my head trying to figure out what do we focus on. But the thing that I want to know in your journey, your wellness journey, what are some of the things that you are, and that's if you're okay being vulnerable about that, but what are some of the things you feel like you are working on that you are struggling with and working through right now?
I would say as much as I'm working on this whole Erica's enough or how I've accepted who Erica is right now, there's still a lot of things to work through with that. I still, in my own marriage, sometimes feeling, I don't know, how do I explain this? Whether it's like shame or feeling rejection, and a lot of that is the more I learn about myself. I'll share this. So recently, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and so that. And your soul's it's okay. It's all right.
How are you? Since news.
It's like, it's a mixture of emotions. So one, the first was just, oh, finally, like I'm making sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Everything just makes sense. My whole life makes sense. But then after that, it's just shame around, well, now, like, I'm not normal. But then also, like, dissecting, like, what is normal? Like, what does that even mean? Being normal. Yeah. Why am I trying to fit into a certain box?
Yes.
And so for me, it's just been trying to accept my whole self, and okay, like, I have ADHD, and what does that mean? Okay, it means that I might struggle with certain things in relationships, whether it's relationships with friends, whether it's relationship in my marriage. I might be, I don't know, whether it's even in my work. Like, there's times that kind of impacts my work as well. Yes. And so I think that's the biggest thing right now is I am trying to fully accept the me and being different in how I communicate, different in how I regulate my emotions. I'm still learning a lot about that.
Yes.
And so
I love that you say I'm still learning a lot about that, because many times when we get news that, we might be having something that we're not familiar with or something that scares us. A lot of the times we go inward and, you shy away from it. I love that you're taking the time to learn it. I love the, everything that's coming out of you in how you are approaching the whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think for me, the biggest thing that I'm working on, I think, is shame. Okay. It's just, the other day, my husband just came back from a trip, and so he wasn't here for his birthday. Yeah. And I had planned, like, I want to have, birthday dinner with him, with his friends, with his family. And I just got so busy with everything. And frankly, like, I forgot. And I realized a couple days before he was coming, like, oh, shoot, I need to send this thing. Yeah. And so picked him up from the airport. We had planned to have this dinner, but then I didn't have a cake. I need to have like, how can I have a cake for every single person's birthday? And that just started spiraling me, right? So I'm just like, I don't have a cake. I need to figure out how to get a cake made in time for this dinner. Anyways, the dinner ended up not happening. We ended up doing something with just the family. But I remember going to my husband and just being like, this is where I've developed a bit more of just like, my whole attitude kind of shifted. I was like, I'm feeling really sad right now. And I'm feeling shame. I feel like I should have done something special for you, and I really want to, and I forgot. And now I just feel really down about it. And he affirmed me, of course, just like, like, we could just do something with the family and this is okay, But it was important for me to just still acknowledge, because even though he said that, I still have to sit with that
yourself.
I didn't show up in this way that I wanted to.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
But then again, in that evening, like, I went to bed, I was like, okay, I had this idea of how I wanted to plan something really special. I wanted to make a homemade cake.
Yes.
But what we had with the family, we went to Fellini, we had our dinner, we had a tiramisu that came in from Fellini, and it was delicious. I didn't make it. But still, at the end of the night, I was like, but Erica, like, you're enough. Like, it's not embarrassing.
It's just a special thing. It's different, but it's special. Yeah.
So I think it's that. It's dealing with shame when I feel like I've fallen short.
Yes.
Right? Because we will all fall short at times.
Yeah.
But I want to process that. And I think another thing is just my relationships. Like right now, I'm very intentional about who I bring into my life. I feel like I'm in this journey of just learning about myself, following my dreams, my passions, being real with my emotions, and being able to communicate openly in the relationships I have. And so with that, you really have to choose your relationships wisely.
Yes,
You have
because
to
you
have
can't
boundaries.
invest all of that in just anybody.
You can't. And you need to have boundaries. And that's one thing that I've never had.
Last question. I feel like we've gone to Canada, the US, South Africa. Yes, but listen, your parenting style seems to be very specific. So I want to know, when it comes to wellness, when it comes to health, what are some of those things and that you are quite intentional about doing when it comes to your kids? But also the second part to that question, as we come to the end of our conversation, is when it comes to values, what are some of those things that you are intentional about passing on to your kids?
Yeah. One, I share my faith, my personal faith, because and again, I think there's going to be a time where my kids are going to grow up and they're going to decide
Whatever they want.
Yeah. Follow.
Yes.
But it's like, still as a parent, you're guiding, you're sharing with their children, and at some point they now have their own wisdom and they can make their own decision. But I do think that it's very important for me to raise my children and to share my faith with them, to share who God is, to share that they were created uniquely. They are uniquely and wonderfully made, and they're perfect just the way they are. And I think for me and my parenting style is just really like, I want Selah and Liam to feel like they are perfect just the way they are. They don't have to change a single thing about them. I want them to grow up with confidence and knowing who they are.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like they can articulate and they can communicate what they want. That they don't limit themselves. I struggle with so many limiting beliefs about, I can't do this because of X. I can't do that because of X. And I'm dismantling all of that, and that's a lot of what my coaching is focusing on when I'm a transformational life coach. Is I want to work with people on breaking down those limiting beliefs, on building up the confidence that you can do whatever it is that you want to set your mind to. And so for me with my kids, it's really that I want them to grow up confident. I want them to grow up knowing who they are. And so I think that informs how I parent them, because I'm very big on, I want them to be able to express themselves, to express their emotions. I want them to have boundaries. So amazing. As much as I get embarrassed when my daughter doesn't want to go, say, give my mom, right? Give my mom a hug when she sees her. I'm just like, you know what? She's going through something right now. I don't know. Maybe she's processing something else and she just doesn't feel like saying hi. She doesn't want to give a hug. She just wants to say hi. Sometimes when I just don't feel like talking to someone, I just stay. Like, I'm an adult now. I can make that decision to be like, I just don't want to be around people right now. And so I'm going to avoid people. Well, my daughter can't avoid. Like, sometimes we just go and she has to be around people. But I want her to be able to listen herself and have her boundaries. And I want to respect those boundaries. I want to talk through them. And I think that starts at a very young age. If you feel like you have to do something, whether it is to please me or to please the father,
it's going to condition and it's going to come back in your old life. Yeah. That is the best. Thank you for doing that for them. Thank you so much for all that you're doing for yourself, because it begins there, for your lovely husband, for your children, for all of us.
Thank you.
And for inviting us, for that courage to just put yourself out there so we can continue to learn, be inspired by you. Oh my gosh. I'm going to let you look at that camera. I'm going to let you talk to moms and to lovely women out that are listening to us. Anything on your heart for them as we conclude.
Oh, wow. You're putting me on the spot. Moms, wives, single people, I mean, wherever you are, I just pray that that you will just first love yourself. Love yourself. Spend time with yourself. Know who you are. I'm still on that journey. I'm not speaking from a place of having arrived. I'm speaking from a place of being on that journey, going through that process. And it is hard. It can be heavy, but it is also so fulfilling to start to unpack things and to see how you could choose joy in your life, be intentional about certain things, see personal growth. And so I wish that for all of you. Just, it starts with you. Love yourself, know yourself.
That was amazing. Thank you.
The experience today was incredible. I really just enjoy conversations and just being able to talk about just life and what you're learning and how you're growing. And I feel like this is exactly what this time was. It was just a conversation. It felt easy. It was, yeah, I felt like you pulled a lot out of me. Of course, I'm a very open person, but I think also just how you ask questions. It was also very reflective for me to kind of try to understand, my journey and how that kind of all pulls together. And yeah, I think it was an amazing experience.